Monica, it's Monday and it's your turn. Yeah. No, no.
Okay, so good afternoon, staff and everybody, as we start a new week. And I will start with actually something for your calendars for tomorrow, because the President of the General Assembly, Ms. María Fernanda Espinosa, will brief member states tomorrow on the work of the GA since she took office in September, as well as on the activities and high-level meetings planned for the upcoming months. One of these meetings, as you perhaps know by now, is the Women in Power, a high-level event. An invitation is being sent to all female heads of state and government for the 12th of March. And with the support of the international leaders, the PGA intends to promote more participation of women in decision-making processes, but also in politics. We will brief you with more details nearer the time. This morning, Ms. Espinosa had her monthly meeting with the Secretary General António Guterres. They spoke about several issues, including the implementation of the UN reform, which began on 1st of January. Ms. Espinosa and Mr. Guterres also talked about joint efforts to promote gender equality. The PGA received in her office the Ambassador of Belize, Her Excellency Ms. Lois Michele Young. She later had a bilateral meeting with the President of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., there will be a handover ceremony of the G77 plus China, and the President will also be there. And later today, she will meet the co-facilitators on the non-aligned movement, the Ambassadors of Timor-Leste and the Czech Republic, and will grant interviews to the Dawn newspaper and also the national newspaper on her upcoming visit to Pakistan. And as we said on Friday, I will flag again, so now on Wednesday, 1 p.m. in front of the PGA's office, we will have a stakeout by the PGA. We would like to invite all of you, 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., so after this briefing, and we won't have any briefing here, so the PGA, no briefing here, everything is going to be done there at 1 p.m. in front of her office. So she will have an interaction with you, talk about, before she leaves for Pakistan, so talk about her upcoming trip to Pakistan, but also any other issue that you would like to ask and have, discuss with her. She will be available. We'll have probably a 5-minute introduction, opening remarks, and the rest of the time will be dedicated to your questions. By the way, questions, do you have any? Go ahead. Welcome back.
Thank you. Monica, before we ask President of the General Assembly, we will ask you. First of all, why not here, but at the stakeout? Is that a new kind of contemporary move?
Oh, no, absolutely not. No,
okay.
No, because we said we're going to have a stakeouts, a mix of stakeouts and press conferences. So this
so
time
you consider that stakeout or press conference?
It will be a stakeout, but with a very generous length of time. So we have from 1 to 2 p.m. So we will have time for your questions.
All
Absolutely.
right. The reason that I'm asking, because we have the Secretary General who replaces the stakeouts with the press conferences, etc. That's only my comment, and that's not the question. The question is...
Okay, I'll leave that to staff, yes.
The same. I'm not used to comment only to questions. The same question is for you. Since you mentioned also the G77 that the President will attend there, there is a really huge kind of complaint or criticism from G77 membership that they are not represented, not only in senior level, as Stefan said, but at all levels of the UN. So what does the President of the General Assembly says on that?
So first of all, I was not sitting in this particular meeting because I was preparing our briefing here, so there will be a readout. This is separate on the meeting. And in regard with your comments or questions, the President has been striving, since she started assembling her team, you remember she was elected in June, on 5th June last year, to have, to precisely that, have the geographical balance, but also gender equality. So if you go on the website, you will see that the team, the PGA 73 team, is a very well geographically balanced, but also gender. I would say on gender equality, we are probably 60% women and 40% men, more or less. But and whenever she, appoint co-facilitators, she said it herself, Mrs. Espinosa, tries to have a balance. Somebody from, let's say, a representative from the south, a representative from the north, in order to have all inputs across the board and all contributions actually that this geographical balance or this representation brings with it. So this is everything I have to say. Geographical balance is important, and she, in her team, has been leading by example. But thank you. Masood, and then Evelyn.
Thank you, Monica.
So you have your interview today, I see here.
Today?
Yes.
Tomorrow? 4 o'clock?
It's today. But anyway, we'll talk about that
Okay,
offline.
we'll talk about it later.
No problem.
I just wanted to...
Good job, I flagged it.
Sorry. Wanted
Go ahead.
to ask you a question about the same thing about the trip, but I shouldn't be... But since you raised it in the briefing, I was going to ask you, what kind of question will she be asking? What kind of meeting does she have with the Pakistani Prime Minister, and what will she be conveying to him on her behalf,
Yeah.
on behalf of PGA?
Yes,
so to speak?
absolutely. We flagged actually we flagged on Friday. We brought the agenda. She's meeting with the president, the prime minister, of course, also the foreign minister. There will be a stakeout with the foreign minister when she towards the end of her visit there. I'm not aware right now of the detailed program conversations that we will have with the leaders, but we'll be bringing that to you. Yeah. And also she's meeting with women's organizations and also the UNCT there, and which is very important, the contribution of women to peace building. Yes. Evelyn.
Why is she going to Pakistan?
She was invited.
Peacekeeping? Oh, she was invited.
She was invited
So
by
it's
the
peacekeeping,
government.
India, and misogyny against women.
Yeah. No, she was invited by the government, and Pakistan is an important member state. She's looking forward to continue the good work with the country in regard with her priorities as well. Because the presidency, although we were talking about that the other day, although if you have that first part of the committees meeting and have all the conclusion in December, we are still on the session, and there will be the resumed part starting very soon. Yes, go ahead.
Just to follow up, I was not planning to ask a question, but just to follow up on her visit to India and Pakistan, I'm sure she noticed the issue with the lady in the state of Kerala in India, and there was another case in Pakistan for a Christian lady. Is that on her topics she's going to bring while she's visiting those two countries and meetings with the leadership, with the prime ministers in both countries, the women impoverishment in India and Pakistan, or she's going to stick to the GA agenda?
Well, the priorities of her agenda are very important. That's why it is called the 7 priorities. As I said, we don't have at this point the detailed topics of these discussions, but the president takes as you know, the gender equality issue very seriously, so she's meeting with women's organizations. And also, as I said, she's visiting female peacekeepers there, and the contribution that the country has been making to the peace building. But you also asked, this is not related to Pakistan, this is related, of course, to India. You asked about the women in Kerala.
India and Pakistan. India had a lady in Kerala, and in Pakistan, I'm not sure of, I can't remember the name of the area where it happened, a Christian lady that was sentenced to death. And
You are
then
talking about Asia Bibi, Miss Asia Bibi.
I'm sorry, my memory
Yeah, we spoke
is,
about her before when the.
But I mean, the issues, because both cases are religiously motivated, both cases involving women whom they do not enjoy the best of egalitarian situation in both countries. So that was my question: is she's going to bring forcibly these issues, these particular incidents, or she's just going to say a generic statement about gender equality, which is
No, I don't think I think as I said before, it would be very irresponsible of me to tell you what the president will discuss, because I don't have these details. As soon as we have, we're going to give it to you. But I can, when you say generic terms, I can tell you at the spot here that the president really means what she is working on in this session, and I don't think she will be making generic statements. She is definitely going to talk about the issues, and as soon as I have the agenda, I will bring it to you. Okay, you have a question, so.
Yeah, my question is also about her visiting Pakistan. Is she's going to talk about, raise the issue of human rights violation against the people of Balochistan, and their political activities is being banned by Pakistan?
I have to look into the agenda and bring the same answers I have for the colleague here in the front. I don't have the topic points, but I will bring it to you as soon as we have them. And also, even if she's there, we will be having our briefings here, so we're going to have the readouts and everything that I'll bring to you. I thought your question was on the youth, peace, and security, which is one of our priorities, and will be discussed as well. Okay, anything else? So I will say to you, good afternoon, and I see you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks.